Hello my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. In this video we're going to be focusing on the brand Saie. Saie Beauty is, I would say, a relatively new brand at Sephora, and I feel like they've been starting to get a lot of buzz lately. Their blush really caught on with a lot of people. There's a new concealer out that's very popular right now, so I thought I would dig in a little deeper, try a few more things, and kind of create the Saie face routine for you. And that's really what most of the line consists of right now. Like, I have a lip balm product as well. I think they do make a mascara, but it's not a brand that's got like a ton of eye products or anything. So it's really going to be about the complexion. And this is a clean beauty brand. On their website, they say as clean as it gets, no compromises, fragrance-free, cruelty-free, organic, dermatologist tested, hypoallergenic, paraben-free. There are no neurotoxins, environmental stressors, allergens, endocrine disruptors, carcinogens, or phthalates in any of the products. The first couple things I experimented with, I got this little like highlighter primer thing in a clean makeup kit from Sephora. Got the blush because it was being so highly recommended by people. And then the rest of the products you're going to see me playing with, I actually ordered from the website because they were out of my concealer shade for a time on Sephora. And I saw, oh, it's on their website, I'll just order straight from there. And it was kind of neat because the products came just in a really compact little box. And then they give you cotton balls. These cotton balls serve as like the plush packaging in there, you know, to keep things from rattling around. I thought that was cool. It says our packages are padded with cotton balls made in the USA from organic cotton, no less. I thought that was kind of neat. And on their website, just as a little description here, it says, say hello to easy elevated beauty. We leverage the very best in beauty, sustainability, and product development to create products that are good on you and good for you. And you look at their presence on Sephora's site, you know, this is their little like icon picture for the brand. And you see just a really natural look. You see skin looking like skin. With the things I'm using today, I just want to prepare you. You know, the end game is not blanket out full coverage skin. It's going to be more about like dewy, hydrated, glowing, natural looking skin, okay? Just putting that out there. I already have my skin all prepped, and I will do this little like highlighter kind of gel primer type thing. It's called the Glowy Super Gel in Star Glow, and like I said, I got this. This is a small size, I suppose, that I got in a little Sephora favorites kit. I was trying clean beauty stuff, and I have a full review on that kit if you're into it. But see how it just gives like this little gentle dewiness. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm putting this shimmer loaded thing on the skin, but it just takes the surface of the skin and makes it look a little more like fresh and ready, you know, and it adds a little hydration, but not a ton. Okay, then we go in with the slip tint. My goodness, have I been wearing this and trying to figure this thing out and trying to understand the staying power on my normal to dry skin. This has broad spectrum SPF 35. I think this won an Allure Best of Beauty award. I have it in the shade 4. I knew I was going a tinge darker with that choice, but thinking throughout the summer that my skin might have a bit of a tan. I have self tanner on right now as well. I just thought it would work, and it's lightweight enough to really mesh in. So I've been using a pump of this, a full pump, because I feel like it is so light coverage that just kind of works. So here I am dabbing it around on the skin. I've applied it with a beauty blender, but I do feel that robs it of some of the coverage, and it's really gonna be light coverage anyway, you know? So I just get that around. And then I'm taking, this is just my little double-ended e.l.f. complexion duo brush. And I'm just going to get this blended in, and maybe you can see what we're left with. It is a light coverage. And with that comes a really radiant look, okay? I think the skin feels especially saturated and dewy after I get this on. Like, remember that video I did? Was it one or maybe a little over a year ago when I sorted out all the BB and CC creams, and I had a scale where it was like dewy to matte and light to full coverage. If this were in that mix, it would be on the lighter coverage end and the dewier finish side. And I'm going to probably talk staying power a little bit more toward the end, but I feel like I've been wearing this a lot lately with the same result every day, and this wears well up to like the midday point, and once I hit that, I feel like it just starts seeming to disappear. And not just in one spot, like definitely around my nose, but like kind of all over. I just see this absence of makeup, and then I do go to remove it and I don't see much on my makeup wipe either. But that being said, it does look very good up to about midday, I would say. But to get you up close and just show you what continues to show through when you put this product on, you can see my skin is glowing, and I do have that primer on, but even if I didn't put the primer on, it would still look pretty glowy at this point. You can see through to all the freckles, redness, a little zit down here, like a lot's coming through. Tinted moisturizer, very classic, but very juicy and rich tinted moisturizer. Then the concealer. This is the Hydra Beam, and this is the thing that I feel like people are going nuts over right now. It does have, like on Sephora's website, it has 399 reviews, and I guess it averages out to like 4.5 stars. They say it's a lightweight, ultra hydrating concealer that visibly brightens, blurs, and smooths skin to create an all-over radiant finish. They describe the coverage as light with this, which I find interesting. The finish is radiant. It has olive-derived squalane and plant-derived glycerin, tomato extract, which is an anti-inflammatory, cucumber extract, which soothes the skin. I have it in the shade 2. And an interesting thing to note here, when you go to pull this applicator out, there's a lot of resistance, okay? And then you look at your little applicator and there's very little product on there. I wonder if this was an on-purpose effort by the brand to not allow people to put too much on their skin at once. I really wonder about that because the applicator holds very little. Like I've put that amount on, and you know, now the applicator is almost bare. Okay, so I am wanting to go back for more to get my nose area and stuff. It is a little bit hard to pull out. Go sit there, go around this redness, and we'll hit right here. So the texture, while not super thick, it does leave a very like hydrated look on the skin. If I were gonna go and like start blending this out with my finger, I'd be like, oh, okay, it does not feel super thick at all. But yet I feel it adds a lot of hydration to this under eye area, to the point where when I go to set it, it almost like doesn't want to be set, you know? And plus, paired with this really juicy tinted moisturizer, it's a lot on the skin right now. And I think that might play into the fact that like it looks good for a good chunk of the day on me, but it doesn't have as much longevity as some other things that I use. So I'm just kind of dabbing over everything. I'm flipping back and forth to this smaller end of my e.l.f. brush. I mean, I feel like it goes beyond just light coverage, but I also don't think it's full coverage. I think maybe it's a medium coverage concealer, okay? Because I can look at my under eye area, and while I feel brightened, I don't feel like I'm quite at the extreme level. Even around my nose, like I put concealer there. Darn near any concealer will cover up those little like broken capillary areas there around my nose, but this actually needs a little bit more. So I would say medium coverage, but here's the thing. With all this moisture, I've kind of realized what's going on here. As I age, and as the average person ages, you get like kind of a lack of fullness in this whole zone. Sometimes what you're trying to conceal is not just darkness, but you're trying to lessen the look of what's becoming a bit more hollow there, okay, this zone. It's not always dark because it's dark because things are looking more shadowed there. And when you get a really like shiny, hydrated product there, yes, the surface of the skin can look glowing and nice, but as it catches the light, it can almost accentuate that variance in the plane of your skin right there. Tell me if I'm making sense or not, but like where things used to be maybe a little more just flat and plump over here, things are receding a little bit. You know, there's a little lack of fullness in a certain zone. This is the area where people get, you know, filler sometimes. And I feel like in natural lighting, as I was just really keeping an eye on my makeup as I go throughout the day, everything is just so juicy, and it can kind of make some of that sunkenness in certain areas be actually a little more obvious, even though as I sit here in really full-on perfect lighting, things are looking pretty radiant. Can you be too juicy? Yeah, I think you kind of can sometimes, and it has an impact on the overall flawlessness of the look. I'm not as gaga over this as I think most people who I've watched are. Again, I think it's really, really hydrating, and it didn't wear in a way on the under eye that started to look unattractive. I just felt like things were wearing away, period, across the face as a whole, you know? But what do you do about all the glow if you don't want to be as glowy? Well, I got their powder. This is their loose powder. It's called Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder, and I have it in translucent. And I also got a little chunky little brush with that. It was part of what I ordered from their website, and it's kind of like a fuller e.l.f. small tapered brush. Pretty packaging on it. It's kind of like a dark mirrored look on there. So I tap out some powder in that lid, and the texture of this powder is silky. Absolutely fine and silky smooth, like those of you who might be familiar with a Makeup Forever HD setting powder. Remember when it was white, it was all the craze, that white setting powder that was just smooth and just felt silky between the fingers. That's what that feels like, okay? So this does not lend itself to thickness, and it also does not lend itself to really taking you overboard in terms of mattification and changing the texture. I put it on and I've got a little texture difference there, but it's just, you know, it is what it is. They've designed this probably to not overtake the natural glowing radiance that they've worked so hard to make these products have, right? So that it makes sense to me. They're not gonna release a real, like, super heavy blanket out powder alongside these other items. I get the vibe. I'm just trying to make it work for me, you know? I'm dabbing this around. I'm kind of pressing it into the skin in my T-zone and the under eye area. But as I touch my under eye area now, it still feels pretty darn dewy. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll add a little more powder because I really didn't do a lot. A little extra tap there. Why not? Does it look a little more flawless? I don't know. I still feel like I'm seeing some darkness there that is just truly under eye darkness that I get right in the corner. But yeah, this powder isn't like moving mountains for me. And it can be tough sometimes to go kind of one and done with a brand and make it all work. For me, and if we're talking like clean makeup and stuff, this Kosas Cloud Set, which I feel also has a reputation for not transforming your skin's texture to super dry in a second, but in the effort to make it not so sticky, this does more to that end than this stuff does. This is just as light as it possibly gets, okay? And now we bring in another product. I wanted to try their Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer. This I got in the shade Medium Bronze, another thing I purchased from their website. The tone is kind of warm. It is creamy. It feels like kind of a stiff, balmy cream. I've liked using this with my Sephora 56, and I just kind of dab right in here with it. And I use it like I would use, you know, my Huda Tantour. This is a little lighter than my Tantour and also softer compared to like my M Cosmetics contouring sticks, but I think you can see some of it swiping on there. It gives me a little golden sunniness up there, you know, it's doing something. And it's certainly looking natural because of its texture, but it's not, I don't think it's adding much to the stickiness. I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna use a little bit as some contour. I like the texture. It's a product I think I'll continue to use. I don't love like just the end result color payoff. I feel like I get a little more out of things like Huda Tantour or my M Cosmetics sticks. This, I do feel like I'm kind of a building place with it, you know? And maybe getting a deeper shade would have changed that experience some. The tone is bordering on a little warmer than I'd like, and I wouldn't mind if it was just a little richer too. But we look so natural, don't we? Like natural glowing skin. And then we have what I feel is the little star product, and it's the blush in Chili. So this is called the Dew Blush, and this was something that I just saw getting some raves on TikTok, and I thought, ooh, that looks like something I could really enjoy because I like a pigmented blush. I like a blush that shows. What I don't understand, and I think my girl Erica's been on here saying this at times, like she's seen people use the Rare Beauty blushes and they do like ... and it's like a ton. They somehow make it work, but it really doesn't take much of this. So I'm gonna do just a little bit, just a little. Trust me, this is gonna be a lot. So then I take my smaller version, my smaller handled version of that Sephora 56, and I just dab, dab, dab. And you don't have to worry about it setting into the skin too quick or like staining. It's really easy to move across the skin. It again leaves you with a little bit of a dewy finish. It's called Dew Blush. You knew what you were getting going into it. Although I will say, on top of this particular makeup look. There's a lot of dew, y'all. There's a lot of dew. If I put this on top of a more classic foundation, let's say Wet n Wild Photo Focus for me, it would still have its dewiness, but it would be working alongside something that wasn't already so tacky as these other base products are. But look at that. Like, I love that color. Absolutely love that. The look has officially come alive, and it didn't matter that the under eye concealer wasn't doing exactly what you wanted it to do. It's like the blush is gonna make it okay. And then if a person wanted more glow on top of this, like what I've done is just squirted out a little bit of this, and then you can just kind of like dab it on top. Right in here. Get a little more shine. Well, I mean, this is not really necessary for me, but I'm just showing you what the product does if you missed my other videos. But like I said, when we're getting this dewy on things, you're gonna turn your head, you're gonna see like just the contours of things. You're not as matte as usual, and your little like hollow of the eye area, you know, that can show more, as opposed to when this area is nice and flat. We've tried to almost mimic that perfected plane that goes across that area. Now the last thing that I have here is this lip balm, or what do they call it? Liquid lip balm. As I was checking out, they're like, do you want this too? Don't you love when they do that to you? Most websites, and even like frickin' Domino's, you know, would you like this pan of brownie cookie dough, whatever it is? Well, yeah. But I just smoothed this on. This feels fantastic. And as you can see, it has kind of this milky look. Like it's not a colorful product, but it's sort of like takes your lips and makes them just a little bit lighter. But I love the texture. It's not greasy in the least, but it feels really hydrating. I could see this being nice before bedtime. I could see this being nice, actually more like when I put my skincare on. Softens up that crustiness, you know? It's good. It doesn't have really any kind of scent, which I don't remember noticing a scent with hardly anything else. But this is my Saie face routine, y'all. This is something that maybe a very dry skinned person would be interested in. It leaves a lot of glow on the skin. This is a brand where, for me, all elements together do not make them stronger. I've used this with other concealers, like even Wet n Wild Incognito, and I can end up a little more satisfied, right? Because this coverage can work for me all over the skin, but I'm just wanting like a little more up in here. But you put this with this texture, and it's like, oh, we are just so incredibly glowy, and it's not necessarily my favorite look all over. And again, staying strong to about midday, but then I notice a real drop off over the nose area, even sides of the cheeks, which is odd. Under eye doesn't end up looking like a crusty mess, which is nice. Under eye can sometimes be the area that looks worse at day's end. It really didn't. I'll give the concealer credit for that. But as I reflect on the way everything was applied, there's a decent amount of pressure applied with this bronzer, and that might have worn away. When I talk about less staying power on my cheeks, that might have worn away a little bit. I have seen this blush wear so much better on top of other base products that are more full coverage. So it's a situation for me where the whole ensemble cast that we use today does not necessarily work its best with each other. They have some other better partners with other things. Like I said, the Lip Tint with a more fuller coverage concealer, even the Kosas Revealer concealer looks better, I think, with it. For my taste, you know, maybe a bronzer that's not a cream with this, because it does kind of pull, I think, at the coverage. And in my eyes, this powder, I would totally skip it, honestly. It is just light as air, and I think, could it be a good, you know, finishing powder? Let's try that. I haven't actually used it as a complete end of the look type of powder. I've used it more as just setting my T-zone, but we can add a little more and try to feel a little more confident maybe in the wear. See, there we are. It may have taken us down just a hint on the dewiness, but I still feel real tacky. I'm not saying this is not pretty. I think it's pretty skin. I'm not complaining about that. I'm looking more at the practicality of everything. A key area where I like to look maybe a little more flat. And again, how does it hold up during a day when I'm not really planning to take any time to touch up? I really have a high standard for how I want things to wear. So it hasn't been great for me like that, but I'm going to finish the look. I'm going to do an eye and a lip, and I'll show you how it all turns out. So here's my finished look. On the eyes, I'm just wearing one eyeshadow. I'm wearing Nude Glow from Maybelline. Really light on the lids. I did some liner, that's NYX Epic Ink across the top with a little wing, superhero mascara, and then on the lips, I'm wearing my Colorstay Matte Light Crayon. This is the Lauren Gray shade. Oh, the shade is called Tread Lightly. It's kind of like a deep peach. And then I put this e.l.f. lip lacquer in Wild Rose on top. So overall, just some kind of delicate natural additions to this look. So again, I'm one who, I love makeup and I don't have a lot of exclusions. I can enjoy the more natural look. I can enjoy a more glam look. I like light as well as full coverage. I would say that my star of this brand continues to be this Dew blush. This will be the thing that I probably continue to get the most use out of and the thing that impresses me most. Okay, little goes a long way. Pigmentation, beautiful rosy glow on the cheeks. I could even take it a little farther than I have it right now. Surprisingly, I really liked the liquid lip balm. Like, I think this feels amazing on the lips and would be a great prep step and great for anyone who just does not like anything too greasy on the lips. As far as these other complexion products, I like this too. I can appreciate this guy, but for my skin and my preferences, that's key because we don't all have the same preferences. But I enjoy this more when I use a concealer that's got a little more coverage in it. So a concealer that's helping it out a bit more and isn't just so dewy. Same with the concealer. Might pull it in but not pair it with that same base product, because to me, the combination of these two together is just a little bit overkill for me on the dewy glow. Definitely not like knocking this brand as a whole because I think they're high quality and I really respect all of their like purposes and the missions behind this brand. Very noble and good intentions. Just for me, as we said, layering them all up results in a look that is very glowy on my skin, not really, you know, helping me out in all my problem areas as much as I'd like. And then again, the staying power, not super strong when all paired together. All right, so I hope I got my point across today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave your experiences in the comments section. Let us know what your skin type is as well. If there are other product combos you like, you know, you enjoy pairing the tinted moisturizer with this certain powder, this certain concealer, let us know your secrets, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.